take another look with Gerda Felix and Melanie Taddeo Malo, two powerful women of diverse backgrounds having genuine, unique, and uncomfortable conversations that everyone needs to have. Join Melanie and Gerda for conversations about what is missing from human connections.
Welcome to Sports for Beginners. This is the show I cover the Pittsburgh Penguins, Toronto Blue Jays, and more, including taking you on a journey through the world of sports from the fans' perspective. Here is your host, Scott McGregor. Let's have some fun, shall we? The Buffalo Bills won a tough game against the division rivals in the New York Jets to take control of the AFC East division and got busy this week ahead of their game against the Titans this week. My name is Scott McGregor, and this is Bills Postgame, and it begins now. What's up, Bills Mafia and football fans alike? My name is Scott McGregor, and this is Bills Postgame. And on this edition of the show, we recap the action from the Bills' Week 7 game against the Tennessee Titans in Orchard Park, New York, at Highmark Stadium. Let's just begin right now with saying, before we get into the coaches and quarterbacks for this game, let's just begin by saying happy Victory Monday to you. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is a Victory Monday to Buffalo Bills fans once again. Of course, our Victory Tuesday show was a little late on schedule. It dropped on Thursday. Sorry about that. But anyways, happy Victory Monday to you. Short week, and the Bills pick up the slack that they had in that first half, against Mason Rudolph and the Tennessee Titans. We're going to break it all down in the scoring summary in just a couple of minutes, but before we do, we'll take a quick break. And before we get to that, a quick little check-in on around the NFL, and we want to get to the coaches and staff, or rather quarterbacks, for this game. As I said, Will Levis did not start in this game. He did not start in this football game. Oh, I hit the wrong app. My bad. Sorry about that. I'm actually listening to the Penguins hockey game as we speak here on the program. But we'll talk about that more in a little bit later in the program. Anyways, we want to talk about the NFL. We want to talk about the Buffalo Bills. As I've already said, happy Victory Monday to you. I'll continue to say this over the course of the program. As I wanted to say here, Mason Rudolph, the former Steeler, had the start for the Tennessee Titan game against the Buffalo Bills. I guess the big thing we got to talk about here, Bills Mafia, is the fact that we're 5-2 and still controllers of our own destiny. And not only that, we're still top dogs in the AFC East. We're still top dogs in the East. We are head coached, as we talk about that, we are head coached by Sean McDermott. Our quarterback is Josh Allen. Our owners in this game are Kim and Terry Pagula, cementing a legacy of 10 years since the team was established in 1960. Kim and Terry have been the owners since a long time ago, but they're cementing their 10-year legacy. You can watch the video of that. I haven't watched it yet, but you can watch the video on YouTube, on the Buffalo Bills YouTube channel. The Tennessee Titans, who are quarterbacked by Will Levis, he is the starting quarterback, but he did not start in this game. Mason Rudolph, as I said, did start this game. They are head coached by Brian Callahan, and their owners are Amy and Adam Strunk. Amy and Adam Strunk. Team was also established in 1960, and they play at the venue Nissan Stadium. Their quarterback for this game, Mason Rudolph. Quarterback for the Buffalo Bills, entering his 100th career NFL start. Our quarterback, Josh Allen, entering his 100th career start and looking for his 68th win. He gets that win in a wild one that we're going to discuss in just a matter of moments. But quickly here, look at our first of two look around the league in week number 7. Quickly here, a couple of things to note here. The Chicago Bears and the Dallas Cowboys both on the bye week today. The Denver Broncos go to town on the New Orleans Saints, 33-10. Still to come, we've got the Steelers and the Jets coming up at 8:20 p.m. on Sunday at the time of our recording. That one in Pittsburgh. We've got the Baltimore Ravens in Tampa Bay for a Monday night matchup, part of a doubleheader. That will wrap up with the Chargers and the Cardinals at 9 p.m. Monday. By the time you're listening to this, those games will have either gone final or they will have begun by the time you listen to the show. Anywho, the Bills, the team we're about to talk about, pick up a dub against the Tennessee Titans to improve to 5-2 and still top dogs in the East. The Indianapolis Colts defeat the Miami Dolphins 16-10. The Jacksonville Jaguars come out of Europe with a 32-16 victory over the New England Patriots. The Cincinnati Bengals defeat the Cleveland Dog Pound Browns 21-14. The Seattle Seahawks beat the Atlanta Falcons 34-14. The Green Bay Packers win a close one in Green Bay at Lambeau. They beat Houston 24-22, The Detroit Lions also victors on this game as they go head-to-head with the Minnesota Vikings, and the Vikings are handed their first loss of the season. They will not be 6-0 at the end of week 7. They fall to the Detroit Lions 31-29. Again, Green Bay beating Houston 24-22. And Philadelphia absolutely going monster on the New York Giants at 28-3. A look at the ongoing games a little later in the program. But now, we're about 7 minutes into this segment, so we are going to take a quick break. When we come back, it's time for the game summary, the scoring of our game tracker as the Buffalo Bills defeat the Tennessee Titans 34-10. You're listening to Buffalo Bills Football, here on Sports for Beginners and streaming later on the ice and behind the benches. We'll take a timeout and come right back to break it all down. Bills Titans continues on Bills postgame right after this.
CNT Radio will never give you up. They will never let you down, nor will they run around or desert you. So join Nick Astley for The Melting Pot every Saturday on CNT Radio. Hang on a minute. He's not Nick Astley. Oh, jings, I've done it wrong. Anyway, just join Nick for The Melting Pot on CNT Radio.
Bills 34, Titans 10. The Bills improved to 5-2. The Titans dropped to 1-5. It's time to break it all down in what was a first half to forget. It was a first half to forget for the Buffalo Bills, but they made some interesting plays and some nice plays in the opening first half of the program. But unfortunately, Nick Folk and Mason Rudolph got the upper hand early on. Nick Folk gets us started here as we go into the scoring right off the jump of this segment with a 25-yard field goal. Tennessee's up 3-0. Now Mason Rudolph go to the second quarter. After one quarter of play, we go to the second quarter, but after the first quarter of play, it's Tennessee 3, Buffalo 0. To the second quarter we go, and Mason Rudolph, he's got Westbrook in his sight. A 4-yard touchdown, caught by Nick Folk, is good. And Tennessee's now up 10-0. Uh-oh, Buffalo might be in trouble here. Well, trouble they are, but guess what? The offense had been a bit sleepy earlier in this game, and fortunately, with James Cook back, he gets an 11-yard touchdown to get a pat by Tyler Bass, and this one by Tyler is up and good. It's 10-7. Now the Titans lead by only 3 points. It would be 10-7 at the half. At the half, the Bills down by 3. But a nice 11-yard touchdown run by James Cook. And Tyler Bass adds on the extra point. If Tyler had missed that point, the Bills would be down, not by 3, they'd be down by 4 at the half. It's 10-7 at the half. In the second half, after the Bills got the ball first, the Titans get the ball in the second half, but in the scoring, the first team to score would be Josh Allen. And guess what? Amari Cooper was making his Buffalo Bills debut. And Josh finds Amari Cooper. Whoop! For a 12-yard touchdown. It's an 8-yard touchdown. Well, actually, it's caught 8 yards into the end zone. A 12-yard touchdown is the result for Amari Cooper. His first touchdown as a Buffalo Bill and first touchdown as a member of the organization. That was also his first catch as a Bill. Extra point by Tyler Bass is up and good. And guess what? Now it's Buffalo in front. Buffalo's in front 14-10. Buffalo in front by 4. Next time the Bills get the ball, drive stalls out in 9 plays. Well, actually, I should say 8 plays, because on the 9th play, we had a field goal attempt by Tyler Bass. This one from 28, it's up, it's good. Bills up 17-10. Bills up now by a score of 17-10. They're up by 7. After 3 quarters, the Bills have turned a 10-point lead for the Titans into a 7-point lead for the Bills. 4th quarter we go. Josh Allen, this one short. Ty Johnson, 4-yard touchdown. Murray was injured on the. Murray was actually injured a while ago, and the update on him was that he had been able to return to the game. In any case, the Tennessee guy, Murray, was able to return to the game, but Josh Allen's pass to Ty Johnson is good. It's a touchdown. Tyler Bass, extra point, up and good for a 24-10 lead. This jumps Buffalo's lead from 7 to, yes, it's 7 to, from 7 points to 14 points. The Bills now up by 2 touchdowns. 14 points for the Bills. They're up 24-10. They're up by 14. Next play up. Bills drive stalls out in 10 plays. Bass made one from 28 yards a quarter ago in the second half. And he gets another opportunity here. This one from 30. Kick is up and good. Now the Bills on top 27-10. Their lead moving from 14 to 17. They're up by 17 now. Alec Anderson reported in as eligible, and this one will put the deal. This one will seal the deal. Ray Davis, the right tackle, in there for 16-yard touchdown. Tyler Bass, extra point, up and good. It's 34-10 Buffalo, and that would be the game. That would be the game's final score as the Bills pull off a 24-point burger, and defeat the Tennessee Titans 34-10 today in Buffalo. All right, so there you have it. There's the scoring. Getting to our game stats, and of course our game balls of the game, and much, much more a little later. But before we take our break, quick little update on ongoing games here. We will do, so we're now doing our second check-in here, but this is on ongoing games. We will do a third and final check-in a little later in the show, but not after this segment. We'll probably do it before we say goodbye. Anyways, we have a 20-0 lead for the Washington Commanders over the Carolina Panthers. Want to make sure I have that right. Carolina Panthers, not Hurricanes, Carolina Panthers. And the Commanders are leading right now 20-0 over the Carolina Panthers. The Raiders are up 3-0 right now on the Los Angeles Rams in Los Angeles. The 5-0 Chiefs are down 3-0 right now, but they're in the red zone. Looks like they're going to score. So the Chiefs are looking for that point. The Chiefs are looking for some points here as we speak. All right. With that all being said, we've got quite the game going on in Winnipeg as the Penguins try to avoid the undefeated Winnipeg Jets. Yes, the undefeated Winnipeg Jets going undefeated after this game, as the Jets are going to go to 5-0 if they can win this game. They are in the third period right now. We will break it all down when the game is all said and done. It looks like it's going to be a pretty good one. Other action on the ice right now before we take a break. The other action doesn't get started till 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and they will feature the Colorado Avalanche in the Shark Tank to take on the San Jose Sharks. And the Los Angeles Kings will take on the Anaheim Ducks, also in Anaheim at 8 p.m. Eastern. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, more football talk here as we talk Bills-Titans game stats. The game totals are up next. How did the Bills and Titans do in time of possession? How did the game go game-wise? How did the game go game-wise for Buffalo when it comes to, how did it go game-wise when it comes to first downs, passing, rushing, penalties, third down, fourth down, total yardage? It's all coming up when Bills postgame continues in just a moment.
Looking for conversations on the world of broadcasting, sports media, and from time to time, my favorite sports teams? Listen to Broadcast Map with me, Ali Musa. To learn more about the show and to view the upcoming schedule, like the Broadcast Map Facebook page. Search Broadcast Map.
That's just Josh Allen being Josh Allen, and they did so exactly as we needed to. Sean McDermott and Josh Allen victory speech on Victory Monday, as we record this here on a Sunday, but it's a Victory Monday for the Buffalo Bills. A little bit of a somber note for the, I should say, not a somber note, but a little bit of a somber note for the Tennessee Titans. A little bit of a somber note as well for the Pittsburgh Penguins. They fall 6-3 to the Winnipeg Jets. You know, there's another Pittsburgh team that is playing the Jets tonight, and that's on Sunday Night Football. That's coming up in about 2 hours' time at 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time. But we are talking about the Bills and the Titans. We'll talk about the Bills' next opponent coming up in our next segment, but we got our victory speech in there just to bring us back here for the game totals. Didn't want to do that early on, but again, want to extend my congratulations to Josh Allen on his 100th career NFL start. Really, really, really great game for Josh Allen here. Okay, maybe it wasn't exactly a great start by Josh, but it got better as the game went along. And you heard Josh mention the defense. The defense kept the Bills in the game. You heard Josh mention the defense, keeping the Bills in the ball game. And they found a way in that second half to play good, complimentary, fun football. And that's why they are 5-2 and coming out of Orchard Park, New York tonight with a W in front of the Bills Mafia before they head out to Seattle next week to take on the Seahawks. We'll take a look at that. And we'll also take a look at what's ongoing right now for the Seahawks as well. I believe the Seahawks played earlier today. Did they play earlier? Or are they playing on Monday? Let's see. Are they playing Monday? Or are they playing now? Nope, they did. They did play earlier. And they defeated the Atlanta Falcons 34-14. So they will meet the Bills next week on a Sunday afternoon. Note the start time, 4:05 p.m. Eastern Time. So likely we will have a post-game show for you. If we do one on Sunday, October 27th, 2024, we'll likely have the post-game show for you during Sunday Night Football that night, as that's an afternoon matinee game at 4:05 p.m. on Fox. The rest of the games leading to the bye week are all on CBS, but two of them at 1 p.m. Eastern, the start time of this game, which started at 12 p.m. Central Time. Bills Mafia did indeed show up and show out for the Sunday victory. So that's great to hear. It's a 34-10 victory for the Buffalo Bills. Here's how the stats go down for the game stats. We want to remind our Penguin fan listeners who are coming into this show right now, we will get down to the Jets and the Pens on Penguins postgame immediately following our final break of the program and our final segment of this program. So just want to let everyone know that. With that being said, after the game stats, we'll get into my play of the game. And you can bring up your play of the game as well on the Discord server under Bill's post-game show interactions. For the Penguins games, you can do that. You can do that via, for the Penguins hockey games, you can do that via the Penguins post-game show interactions. And you can do that as much as you want. You can also send us an email at sportsforbeginners podcast8231@gmail.com. All right, with that being said, let's not waste any more time and get into our game totals. Here we go. Let's get into the game totals. Here we go. So, ladies and gentlemen, our first game total on the day is that we got game totals out of the way. Sorry for the dings here. I had my do not disturb on, but these dings are just coming in. Anyways, they're not really that important to me right now. We want to keep it on to the show here. Anyways, the Tennessee Titans had the ball for 32 minutes and 46 seconds on possession time. The Bills had the ball for 27 minutes and 14 seconds. Both teams, 18 first downs. For the Bills, 14 passing, 3 rushing, and 1 first down was given to them on the penalty side. For the Titans, 13 of the first downs were passing downs. We're done on the passing. We're done in the air, I should say. Rushing, they had 2 first downs, and 3 first downs were called on penalties. The Titans were 6 of 16 on third down efficiency. The Bills were 3 of 10 on third down efficiency. The Bills did not go for it on fourth down. They are at 0 for 0. The Titans, however, went for it on fourth down twice, connected once, did not connect twice, so they go 1 for 2 on the fourth down efficiency. The Titans finished the game with a total yardage of 289 yards, with 67 plays called, averaging 4.3 yards per play. Passing yards were 215. Mason Rudolph was 25 of 40 in completion attempts, averaging 4.7 yards a pass. He was sacked 3 times and lost 15 yards. On the ground, the Titans rushed for 89 yards on 24 rushes, averaging 3.7 yards per rush. In the red zone, they were 1 of 3. Goal-to-goal efficiency, they go 0 for 0. They did not have a goal-to-go efficiency opportunity. Before we go any further with the Titans, let's get you caught up to speed with the Buffalo Bills. Total yards for Buffalo, 389 yards on 54 plays called, averaging 7.2 yards per play. They had 323 passing yards. Josh Allen was 21 of 33 in completion attempts. He averages 9.3 yards per pass, got sacked once and lost 8 yards. The Bills' rushing yards were 74 yards, 20 rushes, averaging 3.7 yards per rush, so the same as the Tennessee Titans, even though they only rushed for 20 times. They were 4 of 6 in the red zone and 1 for 1 on goal-to-goal efficiency. The Bills had 4 penalty yards called against them for 40 yards. The Titans 8 penalties for 52 yards against them. Tennessee 2 turnovers, a fumble lost. They had 4 fumbles in this game, but they lost 1. The Bills had 1 fumble, did not lose the game. Mason Rudolph throws an interception. That one went to Damar Hamlin. The interception went to Damar Hamlin. 1 touchdown for the Titans, 4 for the Bills. 2 on the ground, 2 in the air. 1 in the air for Tennessee. No defense and special team touchdowns. Return yards for Tennessee are 63 yards. They were 2 of 8 in punt yard. They had 2 attempts for 8 yards punt yards. Bills 5 attempts, 56 yards in punt return. They finished with 83 total return yards. In 1 kickoff return, they go for 27 yards. 2 kickoff returns for the Tennessee Titans. They go to 55 yards. No interception yards for Tennessee. No interception yards for Buffalo, but they do get 1 interception and no yards on it. And once again, both quarterbacks, Mason Rudolph and Josh Allen, not sacked in this game. Not safetied in this game. They were sacked. They weren't safetied in this game. Nobody was safetied in this game, so no safeties. to account for here in this game to make up our final score 34-10 Buffalo over Tennessee. There are your game stats of the game. All right, we're 12 minutes in. So we are going to do the play of the game and come back on the other side to preview Bills Seahawks as well as get the game balls of the game in. And we are going to move the player of the game. Actually, you know what? We're going to call the player of the game on this show the game balls of the game. We're going to call that game balls of the game. And we'll do that on the other side before we preview Buffalo versus Seattle. And we will also let you guys know what you can expect on Penguins post-game. Penguins and Jets, that's coming up in a matter of moments after we get out of here. But coming up next, just before we take this break, I'm going to give you my play of the game. And my play of the game is courtesy of the huge, and I mean huge, big touchdown to Amari Cooper. Yeah, I'm going to give it to Amari Cooper. That 12-yard touchdown caught 8 yards into the end zone by Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper's touchdown pass from Josh Allen is my play of the game. This ultimately took Buffalo's lead from 3 to, let's see, just make sure this here because it was 10-7 in favor of Buffalo. Sorry, no, in favor of the Titans. Titans were up in this one. They were up by 3, so that took the lead. And that, oh yeah, it was a 4-point lead for Buffalo. I remember now. Just to make sure, I'll do the math quickly here. 14, take away 10. Yeah, that was a 4-point lead for Buffalo. But it could have been a 3-point lead if Tyler Bass missed the extra point. He did not. So the Bills go out in front by 4, 14-10. But Amari Cooper is going to get my play of the game. Game balls of the game that I'm going to give out, and yours, as well as Seahawks Bills when Bills postgame returns, plus what to expect on Penguins postgame when we do Penguins and Jets. Between the Pens and the Jets, when we go to Penguins and Jets on Penguins postgame, what to expect on that show as we wrap up Double Trouble on the other side of that show doing its end of the show. Our end of the show for Bills postgame here on this Victory Monday is coming up soon. But first, game balls of the game right after we wrap this up on the other side. We'll take a 30-second timeout. Game balls of the game. We've done the play of the game. So now we got to go to game balls of the game. We'll take one final look around the NFL and then set up Bills versus Eagles. No, not Eagles. Seahawks, excuse me. Bills versus Seahawks. We'll set that all up in our final segment coming up in 30 seconds. We'll be right back. Looking for a good hockey podcast that covers your favorite hockey teams and mine? Check out On the Ice and Behind the Benches, where we chat about our favorite hockey teams from puck drop to the last play of the action. To learn more, follow the On the Ice and Behind the Benches Facebook page. Search On the Ice and Behind the Benches. Welcome back to Bill's postgame here on Sports for Beginners, the podcast. One of our final segments on Bill's postgame here. It's time for the game balls of the game. But before we get down to game balls of the game, we've given you the play of the game. We've gone over the game stats. Well, the game stats, we had a little bit of some interruptions, some dings there, but you know what? That's okay. We will try our very best to limit those as best as we can as we go along. Quick reminder of today's game time for the Pittsburgh Penguins game. That'll be coming up a little bit later here on Penguins postgame in a little bit. But the timing was 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. in the UK, and 9 p.m. in France. It was at Canada Life Center. Head coaches Mike Sullivan and Scott Arinelli. Scott A. Excuse me. Sorry, Scott, if I pronounce your last name wrong. And of course, I'm not talking about me, Scott McGregor. I'm talking about head coach of the Winnipeg Jets, Scott A. If I pronounce the name wrong, I use that just to be sure. We also saw the debut of Eric Comrie starting for the Winnipeg Jets, backed up by number 37, Connor Hellebuyck. Joel Blomqvist backs up Alex Nedeljkovic, who is making his season debut. And we will talk about that more on Penguins postgame, but just a couple of things to get in there as we go along here on the show. One of the big things we want to talk about right now before we get to the game balls of the game. What else has been going on? We took a look at some ongoing games. Already broke down a couple of final scores, including Thursday's game between the Denver Broncos and the New Orleans Saints. There we go. There's another ding. I have my messages open now. Let's try to keep this rolling here as we go along. Wow. Washington's pulled away now since we last talked. Washington has pulled away now since we last spoke. It's now 40-7, the Commanders over the Panthers. The Commanders now leading 40-7 in the fourth quarter of that one. It's amazing how time flies, right? Well, in Los Angeles, we've got the Rams, ahead of the Raiders now 20-12. And we got a close one in San Francisco between the San Francisco 49ers and the 5-0 Kansas City Chiefs, who lead it now 14-12 in the third quarter. Still to come on Sunday, the Jets and the Steelers. Game time, 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time. And we will also see a doubleheader on Monday night featuring, it will feature the Baltimore Ravens against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Arizona Cardinals hosting the Los Angeles Rams. Those are the games upcoming by the time you listen to this show. We'll either be getting ready for Monday Night Football, or if we air this on a Tuesday, all the games in week number 7 of the NFL season will have gone final. Whatever the case is, we are talking about Sunday's final between the Buffalo Bills and the Tennessee Titans, which was a 34-10 Buffalo win. And it's time now for the game balls of the game. The first game ball of the game, these ones are going to go to Buffalo. And first one is going to go to, James Cook, 32 yards on 12 attempts rushing. averaging 2.7 yards, 1 touchdown. Longest was 11 yards running for James Cook. Also want to give a shout to Amari Cooper, 5 targets, 4 catches, 66 yards, 27 yards, his longest catch, and 1 touchdown, averaging 16.5 yards in his Bills debut. So Amari Cooper and James Cook are going to get a game ball of the game for Buffalo. Also getting a game ball is quarterback Josh Allen. Rushed the ball 3 times with only a yard mustered. So not a very good day for Josh Allen on the ground. He had 3 opportunities to carry the ball. Not a very good day, for Josh Allen. 1 yard average. 7 yards was his longest rush, but he only got a yard in 3 attempts. And he averaged 0.3 yards per carry. One of the guys who also had some big yardage on the ground, Ray Davis, 5 attempts, 41 yards, averaging 8.2 yards a carry, a touchdown, and 22 yards, his longest run. So we're going to give game balls to Josh Allen, who picks up his 68th win as a Buffalo Bill, and in his 100th year NFL start. We're also going to give a game ball to James Cook. 11 yards, the longest run he had, 32 yards in 12 attempts. 2.7 yards average. Ray Davis also going to get some mention here. And Amari Cooper. For Tennessee, going to give a game ball of the game to their kicker, Nick Folk. 1 for 1 in field goals from 25 yards. And 1 for 1 in extra point attempts. He is perfect in extra point and perfect in field goals, making those attempts there. We're also going to give a game ball of the game to one of these guys. We're going to give a game ball of the game to Calvin Ridley. 9 targets, 3 catches, 42 yards, 14 yards average for no touchdowns, sadly, for Calvin Ridley, but his longest catch was 33 yards. Another person that racked up a couple of yards in the air was Okinawa, was this guy, Trism Okinawa, C.O., the tight end for the tight end receiver for the Tennessee Titans. C.O., 4 targets, 4 catches, 50 yards, 26 yards his longest catch. He averaged 12.5 yards a catch. And we also want to give our flowers to Mason Rudolph. Mason Rudolph picked off once, that was by Damar Hamlin. A touchdown thrown, 25 of 40 in completion attempts, averaging 5.4 yards, per pass. 1 touchdown, was sacked 3 times, lost 15 yards because of that. Picked off once by the Buffalo defense, and threw for 215 yards. On the ground, he had 13 yards in 5 carries, averaging 2.6 yards a carry. 8 yards his longest rush. The same could be said for Julius Chestnut. Julius Chestnut, 3 carries, 15 yards, averaging 5 yards and 8 yards the longest. No touchdowns. Tony Pollard, probably one of the best guys I could give a game ball to. And he had 16 attempts for 61 yards. He was tough to put down. 14 yards his longest run, averaging 3.8 yards a carry. 61 yards his final total in 16 carries. And so with that being said, for the Tennessee Titans, we're giving some pick-me-ups to Mason Rudolph, Julius Chestnut, Tony Pollard is getting a game ball of the game, C.O. getting a game ball of the game, Calvin Ridley's getting a game ball of the game. We're also going to give Nick Folk a game ball of the game as well. For the Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen, James Cook, Amari Cooper, Ray Davis. We mentioned Damar Hamlin. Maybe we didn't. Maybe we did. Anyways, he's going to get a game ball. And we're also going to give a game ball to Keon Coleman. 57 yards, longest catch. Averaging 32.1 yards a catch for 125 yards and 7 targets on 4 catches. Not too shabby for the rookie Keon Coleman. I like what I'm seeing from Keon Coleman. Even on days when the Bills aren't at their best. But hey, they found a way, Bills Mafia. They found a way to win this football game. And as a result, they remain top dogs. Yes, they remain top dogs in the AFC East standings. Speaking of which, the standings right now, the Bills are 5-2, the Jets 2-4, the Dolphins 2-4, excuse me, the Patriots 1-6, the Ravens and the Steelers right now are 4-2. Of course, that will change over the course of Monday and Sunday night. The Bengals are 3-4. The Browns 1-6. That's in the AFC North. In the AFC South, the Texans are 5-2. The Colts are 4-3. Jaguars 2-5. Titans 1-5, who the Bills played today and moved the Titans to 1-5. The 5-0 Chiefs, who are currently playing, are currently top dogs in the AFC West, with not far behind them the Los Angeles Chargers at 3-2, probably going to be 3-3 by the end of the day. The 4-3 Broncos and the 2-4 Las Vegas Raiders. We'll see where the standings go after Sunday's games and Monday's games of this week wrap up. All right. With that all being said, speaking of wrapping up, we are not going to get into any more scoring updates from the Sunday games. Only 2 games going on right now. As the Commanders game has gone final, it's 40-7. The Commanders cover the spread. They beat Carolina 40-7. And run Carolina out of the building. But still 2 games going on right now. The Chiefs and the Niners. Chiefs up 21-12. 20-12, the Rams on top of the Raiders. And yes, we mentioned Arizona taking on the Chargers. Tampa Bay and Baltimore also tomorrow. And coming up a little bit later tonight, the Steelers face the Jets. All right. It's time for us to wrap this up. So what's next for the Titans? Before we get to what's next for the Bills, which we know their next week opponent is the Seattle Seahawks. But what's next for the Titans? The Titans' bye week has come and gone, so they are all business the rest of the way this season. They will play next week the Detroit Lions at Detroit. They come home to play the Patriots on November 3rd. They'll play the Chargers on November the 10th. On November 17th, they've got the Vikings at home. And they've got the Texans on the road on November 24th to wrap up November. We're only going to go as far as that. But their next week matchup is going to be against the Lions. The next week matchup that we are looking at is the Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks. As the Bills' bye week draws closer, we are 1 week away. We are now 1 week away from Miami versus Buffalo. That's week number 9. 1 week from next Sunday when the Bills play in Seattle against the Seahawks. We are 1 week away from the final game of the two meetings between the Dolphins and the Bills, as they will meet each other in Orchard Park, New York, one Sunday from next Sunday. Then they will go to battle with the Indianapolis Colts. And then the Kansas City Chiefs are here in Buffalo for a 4:25 game on November 17th. They'll hit the bye, and then it's Sunday Night Football on December 1st to kick off week number 13 of the season. The Bills will then play the Rams, Lions, Patriots, Jets, and then Patriots once again. All right. Not a lot of football left, especially when it comes to the Bills playing the Dolphins, but they're in a good spot right now at 5-2 as they get closer to the bye. What could happen when the Bills are on the bye? We'll have to wait and see. That is just about going to wrap this one up. I will talk to you, Bills Mafia, after the game between the Seahawks and the Bills. But before we go, I'd like to thank you all for listening to the podcast. Subscribe to the podcast on YouTube if you really like the podcast. Subscribe to the podcast wherever you can find it on podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Apple, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, wherever you go for podcasts as well. It's also available on the Weekly in Sports YouTube channel. Speaking of which, Weekly in Sports will follow the end of the month October show. Will follow this week. It will follow my post-game coverage of Penguins and Flames from the Saddle Dome. But before we get to that, it's time to wrap up their afternoon matinee between the Penguins and the Jets. Who knows? Perhaps we will look around the NHL and get into the games that get going in just 2 hours from now. More likely an hour from now at 8 p.m. Eastern. We will see. That is going to do it for Bill's postgame. So my name is Scott McGregor. It's almost the shout time. It's almost shout time. It's almost time to hear the song Shout. It's almost time. It's almost time. Before we get there, however, today's attendance at Highmark Stadium, 70,842 fans in attendance on a 19 degrees Celsius sunny day in Buffalo. The Bills win it 34-10. Just make sure I get that right. Yes, 34-10. They improve to 5-2 on the season. On Amari Cooper's debut as a Buffalo Bill, John Hussey was your referee, and the Bills win it 34-10. Enjoy the rest of your Victory Monday, Bills Nation. I will catch you next Sunday when the Bills go head to head with the Seattle Seahawks. Double Trouble on Sports for Beginners will continue as we go to the ice next. But as for the Bills and Titans, that is it for this one. Thank you very much for listening/watching the show, even though on YouTube it's all in audio. Thank you very much for listening. Hope to see you soon again. With that being said, it is time to say so long from Bills Postgame. My name is Scott McGregor. We will see you next time. Oh, and always remember, go Bills! Bills win it, 34-10. It's time. Let's hit it. Hit it, shout. Let's go. Hit it, shout. I'm out of here, everybody.
The Bills make me wanna shout. Kick your heels up and shout. Throw your hands up and shout. Throw your head back and shout. Come on now, the Bills are making it happen now. Stand up now, come on and shout. Yeah, 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 yeah. Say you will. Shout it right now, baby. Say you will. Come on, come on. Say you will. Come on and shout. Say you will. Yeah. Shout. Buffalo's happening now. Shout. We're on the move now. Shout. The Bills are happening now. Shout. They're making it happen now. Shout. We got the spirit. Shout. A lot of spirit, yeah. Shout. We got the spirit. Shout. Just watch it happen now.
Hey, hey,
Let's go Buffalo.
let's go Buffalo.
Let's go Buffalo.
Let's go Buffalo.
The Bills make me wanna shout.
Good night, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to Sports for Beginners. If you would like to learn more about the show, you can visit the podcast Facebook page or visit the official website. You can also send us an email at sportsforbeginners.podcast8231@gmail.com. As we always remind you, it is not goodbye, it is until next time. Looking for a sports podcast that covers sports weekly as well as gets you set up for the day? Check out Weekly in Sports with me, Scott McGregor. We give some shout-outs of the week to podcasts like this one and those who do them. Discuss the Blue Jays, Bills, Raptors, and more. To learn more, check out the Sports for Beginners Facebook page. Search Sports for Beginners.